So this piece is Made in Heaven by Hugh Hayden. It's white oak, and then tool materials. You have a broom, a mop, a hoe, and a shovel. The two skeletal figures are sort of facing each other and embracing. They don't actually have all of the skeletal parts they need to fully embrace one another, but you can see that their chests, their ribs are entwined, and in that way they have become sort of one object, one piece, and where their hearts would meet is exactly in the center. This piece talks a little bit about the nature of queer relationships being in the closet. The two skeletons are hung from a bar reminiscent of a bar inside a closet, and they are not facing the sort of scrutiny or pain that they would outside that closet, and are happily sort of wrapped up in each other. Hugh talks a little bit about gendered identity here at the bottom, in that these two sculptures don't have any gender. You can't tell if they're male or female, both female, or opposite genders, but because their feet have these objects, these tools of use, and each of these objects has a gendered identity. Women are generally given the idea of domestic housework, sweeping and mopping, and men are generally given to labor outside. There is this sort of play on who these sculptures or these skeletons might be outside of this space. The other thing that I think is really important to note is that they are hanging from their necks, reminiscent of suicide by hanging, or a lynching even. A lot of Hayden's work references tough racial history, and within the queer community it can be very difficult, and mental health is people within the queer community do suffer mental health issues, and the suicide rate is much higher for people in the queer community. So I do think that choosing to hang them from the neck in the closet is an interesting and sort of jarring choice. But I do appreciate that they get to sort of envelop each other in that way. We also have force field hanging on the wall over here. It's 3 different pills: Discovery, Propia, and Zyrtec. Discovery is actually an HIV medication, I believe, preventative, and these are all pills that someone might take to sort of prevent themselves from being sick. The piece is called Force Field. It's interesting to me that something as banal as a Zyrtec is being presented alongside a HIV medication and preventative, as HIV and the spread of diseases, but particularly HIV, is stigmatized within the wider world as a queer illness. It was actually called gay-related immunodeficiency syndrome before they discovered more about it. And so having these pills presented in sort of a banal way as a Texas flag on a piece of paper, almost like a scribble or a drawing, sort of takes away that stigma and makes it seem like something anybody could take any day. I really appreciate also that it's being presented in the Texas flag. Texas traditionally has a political history of criminalizing homosexuality. The Lawrence v. Texas decision, which actually gave us privacy in the bedroom and allowed homosexuality to be decriminalized. I think it's interesting to see now, 50, 60 years later, we're not only able to prevent people from getting HIV, but it's an everyday thing. It doesn't matter that someone is gay or queer or what kind of behaviors they get up to in their bedroom. We've even made it safer for them to do that, and it's just as normal as taking an allergy medication.